you are without work. Good rising family, Black Feniks checking in. I'm the owner of HogOn Welding and the founder of HogOn University. And today I wanted to talk to you about that because I think it's very important that we understand how to utilize our downtime. I read a scripture one day, and it was in the Old Testament in Proverbs. And it said, prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field. And afterwards, build thy house. I'm going to state that one more time. It said, prepare thy work without, make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards, build thy house. There's a process to everything that we do when you're building your career, when you're building a business, when you're finding yourself. There's a process. And I think sometimes, I see it more now. I realize that sometimes we try to skip different processes. We just want to go from A to Z, you know? Well, that's a process in the middle, and in that process is how you learn the endurance. It's how you learn how to get over the hump, how to deal with certain people, how to face adversities, you know what I mean? All of that is a part of the process. But a lot of times, when you're looking at social media or you're looking at, Hollywood, all we see is I started right here, I was in the slums, and now I'm in the movies, you know what I mean? You don't see a whole lot of the in between. You don't see a whole lot of what actually happened. A lot of times people don't want you to know what actually happened for them to get there. But I feel like the times when we are in that process without work, so to speak, when you're pursuing, that's when you're building your worth. Like knowing how much you are worth, knowing your personal value, what you have to offer someone, if it's in a relationship, a business, a friendship, um, going through those struggles and those times are what really prepare us. That photo I put up is actually my first shipping container conversion. And it was a 20-foot shipping container we turned into it was a booth at a baseball stadium, where they sell, different, hot dogs or whatever, different, they probably sold beer in there too, because, it was over 21 if you could buy beer, so no telling, but they sold different kind of things in there. So, it was like one of those stands, you could go pop-up stands, but it stayed out there. And I remember at that time, before that opportunity came, the guy presented himself to me at a time where I was without work. I was trying to figure some things out. I was in Feniks, I was trying to get some things going. But at that particular time, I didn't have any work, and he came to me with an opportunity just to do something simple. He wanted to do something simple, and once I seen it and we sat down, I was like, man, I can make that possible. I can really make this happen. You know what I mean? And the whole situation started out as being a business friendship, but it didn't go that well after the first project. But I learned so much, and I was building my worth during that time. So even though I was helping someone, and at that moment I was without work, I was able to build a product and work on a project that opened my mind to so many endless opportunities when it comes to shipping containers, when it comes to living, when it comes to growing, when it comes to shelter, when it comes to business, portability, all that stuff. Like, so much opened my mind. And then I was actually able to go through the full process. Like, I seen everything get done from start to finish. And it wasn't complicated, but it did take steps. And I learned that during those times when you are without work is when you can make the most valuable or gain the most value from that time to increase your worth, because during that time I was able to gain a new skill. I seen something else. I had the skills, but I didn't have the skill of knowing how to operate a shipping container, how to, I knew how to cut, but I didn't know, exactly how to bring it to a modern product. And so I started searching. I got hungry, and so the more I looked into shipping containers and shipping container conversions and shipping container homes, we started doing different projects. But that one right there was actually my first one, but it opened up the door to my mind. Like, it helped me see how valuable something that someone else might think, oh, that's just some storage. No, it can be something else, because that shipping container can withstand hurricanes. And we don't have hurricanes on the land, so I think we'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? But we do have tornadoes, but they are very strong. And like I say, it's easy to insure something like that because of the structure of it. You know what I mean? So all of that plays a big part into, because you can actually insure it easily because it actually lasts longer. So I learned a lot when it comes to building containers, but I learned a lot about building my worth when I didn't have work. And I learned that once you do that, when everything comes full circle, now you got something. When work coming, you can actually use this work income. That's why I talk about turning passive income, turning earned income into passive income, because once you figure out what you want to do, if it's from selling products or a service or whatever you're doing, then you can turn that earned income that you're making into this passive income into your business. Now, when you're doing it, people say, oh, it's not necessarily passive because you got to work for it, but it is too. So some businesses you have to literally always work, in order for it to happen. Certain service businesses, if you don't get up physically and do it, it can't be done. Different people have different sole proprietorships of independent LLCs that it takes them all the time. The goal is to not only when you're building yourself on business, you just don't want to stop there. You want to be able to get to a level of business where you can create a business that can actually stand alone, where you don't have to physically be involved in it for it to work. That's the process I had to learn, the work I had to learn, the value I had to learn about diversifying your portfolio, about shipping containers, about business, about being able to build a small brand in a small town that could actually go everywhere. And today, we think about Walmart. Think about Walmart, you know what I mean? How Sam Walton took a small store and turned it into a multi-million, billion-dollar industry, where every state you go to, I don't know, I haven't went to a state that didn't have one, maybe a town, but not a state pretty much. I think they got one in every state right now. So you got to think about what happened, you know what I mean? And even though it takes commerce, but once you come up with something where people are known for your services and people come to get things from you, the doors opened dramatically. But this morning I just wanted to talk about that because this print that I ended up getting made, this is the first idea of the process of the shipping container conversion on exactly how I wanted to line it out. So, it takes time to go through the processes, but all of this helped build my worth. So, when it's time for you to go, get funding, or it's time to get someone to say, okay, I'm ready to go to this next stage, and you showing it to a committee or a board or an investing company or whatever you're doing, they see that you already put in the work, and you put in the work when you didn't have the work to build your worth. So sometimes, we have to realize that during those silent moments, even though they get hard, family, sometimes when it get real silent, you don't know how things gonna go. I have been in it and I was like, man, I don't know if things gonna go left field, right field, or whatever, but I try to hold the faith to know that I have to keep a strong mentality and outlook on everything. At first I used to say, you know, pray for the best, but expect the worst. I expect the best all the time, and if the best don't come now, I realized it was a lesson. It was something I had to learn then, and I'm gonna learn that lesson. Then I'm gonna keep striving for the best. But I think we should always strive for the best. I think we should dream and And we should dream so big that even we don't even know how we're going to accomplish it. Like, I think that's dreaming. I think that's living when it's not stressful, but just having the imagination to say, you know what, I can do this, I can do that. And you have to start from somewhere, family. And sometimes it's going to be in those moments where you don't have work. That's why it's important, during this time, especially this pandemic things is going, people still quarantining, got time alone. If it's something that you're trying to do, really, really, scratch the surface. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can get discouraged. Sometimes you're going to, stumble. But one thing for sure, if you're hungry, and if that hog is in you, you're going to get back up, because you know that if you don't go out here and get something to eat, if you keep laying down, you're going to starve. And by no means you want to do that. So, a lot of times we have to just learn our value, and learning the value is what we go through, through the process of experiencing different things when we don't have work. So it's good to, have an imagination. That's why I like to say your imagination is your limitation, because this generation, it seems like they don't really have an imagination. It's like someone else had to lead them. If you come with something organic or with you using your imagination, they look at you like, well, who gonna let you do that? You know what I'm saying? Or where you get that from? Or who you steal that from? Man, I'm just thinking. At first, everything calls with an idea. But one thing I want to say, just because you got a bright idea, that bright idea can be vain if you don't use it. So, knowledge is good, but wisdom is better, because it's knowledge and application. You know what I mean? So just because you got all this knowledge, if you don't apply it, then what is it going to, help you any? So I just want to say, when you're going through these times, when we're going through these times, we need to be building our work. And yesterday I had an opportunity to sit in front of the committee in McGee, Arkansas. And family, I got to be honest with you. The last time I sat in front of a board, it was trying to, come home from prison. I was being granted parole after doing 10 years from 16 to 26. This time I'm sitting in front of the board. I'm 41 years old, about to turn 42 this month. And I'm getting approved to bring a new business structure to the city, and also getting approved to own a corner lot on Main Street of the city, a historical property, in my opinion, you know what I mean, just to be here because I'm from here. And so in order to come back here and want to bring something in order to embellish the area, make it look good, I want it to be modern. I want it to be something that my kids, our kids, different families from around here can be proud of, because sometimes those seeds, it says seeds fall on different soils. Fall on good soil, it fall on, rocky soil, it falls on thorns, you know, dry land. But you never know what happens in that process, where that seed can go just because it fell in the thorns. It doesn't mean they're not going to grow. It might just have some more obstacles than the next seed that was an open plain site in a nice field. So we have to embrace these different challenges and just learn to build our work, family. You know what I mean? Like I say, being there it was amazing to me, just to sit there and listen to the process, and was prepared to answer questions and to show them my vision. And even though, like I say, I'm just getting started, the door just getting open, but it's the beginning of something, though. You know what I mean? It's the beginning of something. And the great thing is, like I told them, I want it to live to be remembered. I want it to outlive me. I want my kids to be able to inherit it and keep it going, and understand the vision of it. Understand what I'm trying to do, the independence of it, not just saying, "Oh, I'm not working." Nah, to be able to give something back, and to be able to enjoy life, like to free up some of your time, to be able to enjoy some things, to be able to travel and see life, and to spend time with family, you know. But like they say, if we don't work, we don't eat. But we don't have to work for someone else. We don't have to be a slave. You know what I mean? We don't have to depend on certain things. We can be able to create our own, especially for those who really want it. So this morning, I just wanted to talk about that. Like I say, yesterday was historical to me because of being able to sit down in front of the city council, being able to know that there's more than one way to do things. You'd be surprised who are supporters. You'd be surprised who would speak out for you if you're willing to jump out there. It was ironic that Peter, in his mind, he knew, man, I can't walk on water. But he called me out here, so if he called me, I think I could do it. And he jumped out there and took some steps. But then he got to thinking about where it was at and started to sink. And I think that's what life, tends to do. When once we start having faith and start dreaming big, we tend to look at circumstances, or people say this, or you see the wind and you see the water and you see all this stuff going on. You're like, man, I might not can't do this, man. This might be too much. You know what I'm saying? But we really can. But we have to have a big enough faith to order to say, you know what, anything is possible. And we have to just keep our eyes on the prize, you know what I mean, and not focus on the stuff going on around us, the distractions, because you're always gonna have distractions, family. If you ain't got them from the outside, you got them from the inside. So once you work on you, you can be able to, calm that noise down and really chase and pursue your goals and dreams. So I just want to talk about that today. Get your worth, work on your worth when you're without work. The times when, you're trying to figure it out. It says that the wise person visits the house of the dead, and the fool will be where the party's at all the time. So, I think that it's good to go back and reflect on those who already have went before us and get all that information and use it. Use it to our best of our abilities, because as long as we hear it, family, we can do something. We don't know how long we got, so as long as we hear, we can help someone, we can touch someone, we can change something, we can open up a door, we can really do something that can actually help and change some things. So I just want to say I'm humbled, I'm thankful. I appreciate everybody. Keep liking and sharing the channel. I appreciate everybody that's been checking in. Salute to everybody. Keep getting your hog on. Like I say, the main thing is just to stay focused. I'm in my hometown now. My goal is to build a committee, a board where we can actually sit there and start making some investments and start owning some property and start doing some things. And it takes a team, family, but it takes someone to show you that it can be done. So I'm just out in the front line, so to speak. I'm just a CEO. I'm gonna come out here and take the chance. I'm gonna show you it can be done. And I don't believe in just, I have took foolish chances before. And business is a chance. But one thing for sure, once you learn business and you learn the way things work and operate, it can become a foolproof system. All you have to do is be willing to do the work, be willing to invest, and do what's done. Anything is possible. So stay blessed, keep doing your thing, keep prospering. HogOn.